Hey, what's up, YouTube? Well, finally have the apartment to myself again, but I don't know how many more days I'll have this because, for all I know, the coronavirus could break out at my dad's workplace and they could start having him work from home. But, first of all, I want to start out by saying that there is a silver lining to this whole coronavirus thing, and it's that I don't really have to worry about super nice clothes anymore, since I'll pretty much be staying home and not going anywhere for the next month or so, I guess. I mean, I have no idea how long this thing could continue. I mean, we could still be talking about this well into the summer, which I think is pretty freaking ridiculous, considering the fact that it's like, I mean, really, who gets colds in the summer anyway? So, yeah, I mean, I just hope we're not, well into the summer and then, well past my birthday and still talking about this stupid virus. But who knows what the future holds. So, as you may have noticed from my last 3 videos, I'm kind of on a roll. I just can't stop talking about this whole, Rugrats thing and trying to disprove or dispel this stupid myth that people have. I mean, I don't know what it is, why people want to imagine this show to have been something a bit more wholesome and clean than it actually was. I mean, it's really only a few people, I must admit. Most people couldn't care less about the whole stupid show or anything like it. And that's a good thing. But what I want to talk about today is the fact that in addition to sharding or, whatever you want to call it, they didn't use that word obviously back, that word was unknown back in the days of the Rugrats because Rugrats Go Wild predates the movie that introduced that word by exactly 1 year. There's this movie, Along Came Polly, in which the term sharding, SHARTING, became known to the world. And the person who said it, Philip Seymour Hoffman, is dead. But, so the Rugrats Go Wild was already a year old at the time of that movie, and of course little kids don't normally use that word. But my last 3 videos have been about the Rugrats sharding their pants, so to speak, or having accidents, or pooping their pants, or whatever you want to call it, messing themselves, crapping their pants. The old-timey, archaic way to say it was fouling themselves, like a foul ball. I mean, it was just, their word for soiling, like over 100 years ago. So, I don't know, there's just, the sky's the limit as to how many ways you could say it. But, basically what I want to talk about today is the fact that although I will not be playing the clips, because I guess that'd be a bit too over the top and graphic, I want to say 1, 2, 3, at least 4 of the Rugrats, plus Kimmy's mom, vomited, or Ndidi. So I guess you could say 6 characters vomited or were said to have vomited, most of them in a non-graphic way. The only 2 that did it, or it was only the 3 Pickles kids, Angelica, Tommy, and Dill, that did it in a graphic way. But all, 6 characters, and so basically 4 of the Rugrats vomited at some point during the show's history. And of course the first one to do it was Tommy in Slumber Party on Angelica, and he's in kind of a fever dream, so although you can see it and it's green and everything, it's still technically a hallucination. And so she's not really naked, she's just, who Tommy imagines the baby Cupid on his mobile to be. And then of course my favorite of all, season 2 episodes, Chucky loses his glasses. My former favorite episode, Before All's Well That Pretends Well, is the most graphic and interesting puke scene in all of Rugrats history, and it's when Angelica throws up on her dad, Drew, and he says, "Oh no, all over my new sweater." And then of course in Ransom of Cynthia, there's a less graphic puke scene where she throws up on him again and he just says, "Oh no." and then in both scenes he carries her off. But what I want to talk about, and of course Dill does it in the movie and a few other episodes, and Chucky does it in Destination Moon, but it's off screen, he just gets a little dizzy, and but what I want to talk about is how, the fact that they have all these puke scenes, and how, one thing that people don't consider, they like to believe that never in a million years would Angelica ever poop in her pants. These people, what they don't understand is that in some cases, now of course this has never happened to me, but sometimes when people throw up, if their colon wasn't empty, or if they also have diarrhea for whatever reason, or they needed to go number 2, you can have it come out of both ends, okay, as the saying goes. And especially a young child who hasn't been bowel trained for very long, if at all. You can have it like, you can have a child that throws up and simultaneously they poop their pants. And what I'm saying is that, these people that are apologists and want to say that Angelica would never in a million years poop in her pants, what about, those times when she threw up? I mean, I know they don't ever, tell you one way or another. I mean, of course, they're not going to show you her underwear. But, I mean, seriously, how do you know that in the truest sense that it can happen to a cartoon character? How do you know she didn't simultaneously poop her pants? Like, especially in Ransom of Cynthia, where she does it off screen. But she had eaten basically all of her candy plus all the baby's candy. And, she'd been doing it all day, and never did she stop and go to the bathroom. And when her daddy picked her up and he swung her around in a circle, think about centrifugal force. And so, you imagine, like, objects resist changes in velocity. Okay, so when he picks her up, when you, let's say you have a container, okay? Now, if you have like a can with a paper bottom or something, imagine, and the paper bottom is very weak, okay, and you have something heavy that you just put inside of it and you lift it up. Well, a lot of times, if that paper bottom, isn't strong enough to hold the weight of what was inside of it, it'll just come right out. And because objects resist changes in velocity, whatever would be in her colon would want to stay on the ground as her dad picks her up, okay? So that would be the tendency. And of course he says he's going to return the new Queen Cynthia doll. So that makes her nervous or sick to her stomach. But, so what I'm saying is, these people that think that never in a million years would Angelica ever poop in her pants, and they don't want to hear, even the suggestion that what I'm saying is true with those clips and all that I just uploaded. But I mean, what about the fact that, when she threw up, even though, of course, they're not going to come out and say, that, something like that, like, how do you know? I mean, I know she's a cartoon character, but I mean, how do you really know? Do they ever say that she didn't, is what I'm trying to say. Like, how do you know it didn't come out of both ends? And like this book, Back Off Bully Boys, which I wish there would have been more Timmy McNulty and less Dill, because they're voiced, believe it or not, by the same voice actress, Tara Strong. She does both Dill and Timmy McNulty, and I just wish, personally, that they would have, kept Timmy McNulty as more of a regular character and not introduced Dill, but whatever. It says she ate all the ice cream because she really has an issue with eating things that are not good for her. This was her comeuppance in this book. When the ice cream man came, Tommy's father, Stu, brought the babies each an ice cream cone. "Fork 'em over," Angelica demanded after Stu was out of earshot. Angelica got her 5 ice cream cones and a big stomach ache, too. Okay, well, she has this issue with, eating things even though they give her a stomach ache. And Chucky has an issue with being afraid of everything. Well, guess what happens? There's an expression, scared the blank out of someone for a reason. And So I mean, my parents they never put two and two together and figured out why I was so freaking obsessed with that show. Because when you have like basically a 2-year old that's afraid of everything and a 3-year old that's a glutton and she just eats to the point of being sick all the time, and all the rest of the characters wear diapers, you know, why on earth would I be obsessed with that show?